That we already have a pathway to get treatment orders. As you can see, it applies to young people, and we would allow for this to apply to more. We want to make sure that we have an appropriate process so that it goes before a court and has to have a very high bar, that if a person is causing harm to themselves or others, rather than go to jail, they'll go into a treatment path. We think that this is exactly what we need to do to protect the life, liberty, and security of people, which is a charter value. When it comes to what they call safe supply, I would just point you to a recent article by Adam Zebo in the National Post, where he has documented very clearly what the impact is of giving powerful opioids in Vancouver. In Vancouver, the drug they're handing out, it's called hydromorphone. It's 5 times more powerful than heroin. Addicts are crushing it up and injecting it into their arms. They're getting major infections, and some of them are dying. And that is the alternative pathway. Rachel Notley has gone on the record saying she supports safe supply. That's what it means, is it means using taxpayer dollars to give hard drugs to individuals. They will either inject them and hurt themselves, or they'll go out and sell them so that they can get fentanyl. It increases the supply of unsafe, harmful, destructive, life-destroying, deadly drugs on the street, and that's the choice people have to make. Let's not sugarcoat it. We either go down a pathway where we continue the approach we've taken with the Alberta model, which is getting international attention, and it doesn't give up on people. It gets people into recovery and on that pathway, or we go the dark path of what we're seeing not only in Vancouver on the east side, but all down the west coast. I know what choice I would make. We can't go to that. We've got to go forward.
I worked the streets for over a decade. I look at the faces of some of these parents. I was that police officer that attended their homes where they were crying, saying they didn't know what to do. I've had mothers cry in my arms because they didn't know what to do with their children. Are we going to condemn a 12-year-old to a life of palliative care, and by giving them drugs, giving them a safe place to use these drugs? We have hope. This is what this offers, hope. Hope to these young kids, the kids that were back here, hope to these parents, so that those children will have something more than the continual and perpetual state of abuse. That's not a life, to be given drugs and then given a safe place to use them and then given an naloxone kit and then sent on their way and then use the drugs again. That's what they're doing in Eastside Vancouver. I know that. I've been out there. And let's talk about this. These drugs are being diverted. We never talked about that. They're being diverted. And guess where they're being diverted to? The junior highs, the high schools, the post-secondaries. The only people benefiting from this are the drug dealers. The only people being disadvantaged by this is the rest of society, and quite frankly, the law enforcement community.
I thought going into treatment, not under, obviously, my own will, was inhumane. But to be quite frank and honest, the only reason I thought that was because I wanted to continue doing what I was doing, which was using drugs, right? Like I said, I didn't want anyone or anything to get in the way of me and my drug use, and to be honest, I don't think any addict would want that, right? Because I mean, in addiction, it's a disease, it's a brain disease. It's a mental health issue, and I think for myself, and speaking for some other people here in recovery, I needed that intervention regardless of, in the moment, if I thought it was inhumane or not, because I know afterwards, after leaving treatment, after being recovered and becoming sane again, I was extremely grateful, and I know there's a lot of other people that were extremely grateful to be given that opportunity, rather than saying, oh, well, they don't want the help, so we're not going to help them, right? I don't think any addict necessarily wants the help, and that's even more reason why we need to give it to them.